King Charles III and Queen Consort Camilla have left Buckingham Palace in the Diamond Jubilee State Coach as the historic first coronation in 70 years began today. The national anthem played and crowds shouted "God Save the King" as he started on his 1.3-mile journey to Westminster Abbey through streets lined with 2 million people and 7,000 British troops. The Diamond Jubilee State Coach, drawn by 6 Windsor grey horses, arrived at Buckingham Palace for the King and Queen at 10 a.m. Members of the Mounted Division of the Household Cavalry have lined up at the entrance to the Mall ahead of the King's procession to Westminster Abbey. A mile away from the palace, Westminster Abbey was rammed with the great and good from Britain and around the world as Charles III's day of destiny finally arrived, and he will be crowned king today. More than 100 million people around the world are about to watch the historic first coronation of a British monarch in 70 years, with an estimated 2 million people on the streets of London to watch history unfold. Stars in the Abbey included Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, Stephen Fry, Nick Cave and Magician Dynamo, while Dame Emma Thompson gave a thumbs up in excitement. First Lady Jill Biden was among the last to enter before the service, sitting with First Lady of Ukraine Olena Zelenska. President Joe Biden has stayed at home. The monarch smiled to huge crowds who cheered wildly and waved flags as he was swept into his central London home at 9 a.m. On the short journey from St. James Palace, the King, 74, looked solemn and thoughtful at times, in what is undoubtedly the biggest day of his life. Senior members of the royal family arrived around 20 minutes later, including Prince Andrew, who was booed by some in the grandstand. The monarch had been heir since the age of 3, and is now ready to finally embrace his day of destiny with the woman he loves by his side. VIP guests queued for a mile from 6 a.m. to get one of the prime 2,300 seats inside. The Abbey was full at just before 9 a.m. They will watch Charles be crowned in a Christian ceremony that dates back for 1,000 years on a day dripping with glorious displays of pageantry. The 2-hour service, pared back from his mother's in 1953, is a pivotal moment in the history of the royal family. Will balance ancient tradition and a future in the 21st century. It will also shine a spotlight on Britain's place on the world stage in the UK's biggest ceremonial military operation since the state funeral of Sir Winston Churchill in 1965, with 7,000 servicemen and women marching with the King and Queen. The ceremonial route has been lined by 45 half companies from the Royal Navy, Royal Marines, British Army and Royal Air Force. Ahead of the King setting off from Buckingham Palace, the Foot Guards of the Household Division lined the Mall, the Royal Navy lined the Admiralty Arch, the Royal Marines lined Trafalgar Square and the Royal Air Force were stationed on Whitehall and Parliament Square.